Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Peace be upon you all. Let me see if I can see the comments. Salam, brother Zuzan Ihsan. You're welcome. Yeah, I've been good, alhamdulillah. Salam, brother Abdul Salam Ali. Yes, salam. Yeah, hello, bro. Med Kamara, I've seen you. Med. Yes, sorry for the delay. Yes, I got delayed a bit. Yes, because there's something I bought for that I had to pick up with the family, so I had to go and get it. So kindly let me know if the sound is clear enough. Yeah, I can see it's clear enough. Thank you all for coming. As you all know, it's been a while since I did a live program due to my busy schedules and other things I have to do, and also trying to make the Quran available as soon as possible. Like I said, the great Quran, the copy that I have here, you see, is the hard copy, like with the ribbon and everything, and the text inside you can see clearly. Yeah, everything intact. And for people who actually want me to sign, I can sign. And also it has my details, everything written. For people who have the PDF copy, like the ebook version, the PDF copy, you can see the details as it is. But with a hardcover, you know, there are some things which has been upgraded in terms of the designs and the arrangement. For instance, for people who have the PDF version, when you take Surah Al-Fatiha, chapter 1, when you take Surah Al-Fatiha, you can see here, if you compare with the PDF version, you see a difference of the design. And because I have it online here, you might not see it properly, right? And for those watching, you might see it in a different direction because of the video. From my side here is correct, but when you are seeing from the picture, you see it from the different angle to the other angle. Yes, so it has 962 pages, but the Quranic chapters and the verses itself, the pages, is 952. So when you go to the appendix, it has all the details. Peace be upon you. You're welcome, Munir Udin. Yeah, Sister Alma Johnson, you're welcome. Yeah, I see you all. Brother Aslan Bey, I see you. So here, if you go to the appendix, it has the appendix as well, like where it tells you everything concerning the Quran, the book, and everything it contains, right? So this is the hard copy. And I will put in the link below. At the moment, it is limited for certain countries at the moment that it can be shipped to at the moment. I'm working on getting it to the various places as well. So the first 10 or 15 people to buy this online will get a discount. Yeah, about €10 discount. So I'll put in the link above so that people can access where they can get a copy to buy. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, Denmark. Yes, it can go to Denmark. For countries in European Union, is no problem, right? European Union, I don't have any headache shipping to European Union, right? And I'll put in the link where you can get it direct from under Natsal Enterprise, right? Natsal Enterprise, the official publisher of the Great Quran, the copy. So I'll put in the link above. If you check here from my text, it does. Of course, it will not show you well, but the publisher should be somewhere there where you can access it. Salam, Ramawiya. So, like I said, I repeat again, this is the Great Quran. This is the hardcover copy. And the paperback copy also will be available. Yes, yes, Brother Munir Uddin, yes, to UK as well. UK, yes. It can be shipped to UK. It can be shipped to US, Australia, yes. This Canada, these top countries, yes, it can be shipped. For the other countries, I'm working on an affordable prices for the other, minimum countries, whereby shipping, I don't want it to cost them much in order. Yes, but for Europe, the price is not that much, according to our standards. But if I have to ship it to other countries, you understand, the less developed countries, it will cost them much money. So I have to find a way to make the shipping like affordable for them. So I'm working on that, inshallah, so that you can be able to afford it. But for those who are interested in the PDF version, I have a link on my page where I show the link, and it costs €10. And if you need a special discount, you can inbox me. I'll give you a discount whereby you can be able to afford it in a cheaper form. Yes. So far, I guess most of the people I know already have the copy of the PDF, and they are accessing it, and they are getting the benefit from it, right? And this one, it costs, usually the official price is €75. But yes, there's the discount for people who are the first 10 or 15 people who are willing to buy it online. There's a discount code for them. You'll get a discount, about €10 discount or so. So I'll give you the code to the discount. Whoever is interested, let me know. We work on the shipping. The shipping price is already there. You can check according to the zones of the shipment, the postal charges, and we'll find a way so that you can get it the best way possible. Yes. So I'll be sending the link, or I'll put the link here as time goes on. Then we go on. Okay. That is just by the way. So as you all know, my name is Shu'aib Abdullah, and I'm here concerning the dialogue I had on Sunday. I had a dialogue. Unfortunately, the dialogue was in Hausa language, right? It was in Hausa language, and we spoke about the Quran, and then it has to do with, I said, the host actually invited me because I said there wasn't anything like khamsa salawat, 5 salat in the Quran. There wasn't anything like Salat al-Jum'ah, Salat al-Jum'ah in the Quran. There wasn't Salat al-Eid in the Quran. There wasn't Salat al-Janaza in the Quran. There wasn't anything of that sort. Salat al-Eid, none of them in the Quran, right? And it seems most people don't understand what I'm trying to say or what I'm saying. You understand? Because, like I said, when a wise person makes a statement, it takes ignorant people a lot of loads to even get closer to what he's trying to say, because they cannot grasp what he is about. Instead of asking for explanations, they don't do that. They rather draw conclusions, forgetting that we are not the same in terms of knowledge and understanding, and they should have addressed you or try to make you clarify. So actually, big ups to the host, Alaja Africa, who actually gave me the platform. And initially, I wasn't expecting a debate or a dialogue. I was expecting he will have an interview with me so that I clarify things. But then somebody was eager to come in. So I was like, okay, no problem, because I'm not scared of anybody anyway. So I allowed that to happen. But unfortunately, it was in Hausa language. So for people who tried to even watch, the reason why I didn't announce it on my page, because it wasn't in English language. So I didn't see the need for me to announce it, that I will be having a dialogue. And apart from that, after it happened, I posted it on my page. I know some of you have seen it. So I've decided that, okay, let me just elaborate further concerning what actually transpired on that day, right? The host actually came about my video, one of my videos, where I was speaking about salam, Sarki Sana. You're welcome. Where I was speaking Wilaya Sana, you are here. No, nothing is going on. So the host came about one of my video where I was speaking about there is no khamsa salawat in the Quran. There is no Salat al-Jum'ah in the Quran. And this baffles me a lot when I say there is no Salat al-Jum'ah. The ignorant people, they just get dumbfounded. They become dumbfounded, flabbergasted. They just get confused. They are like, hey, look, he's saying this, Salatul Juma. Then they start laughing, ha ha ha, out of their ignorance. They don't understand or grasp what I'm trying to say. They don't get it. So I'll be breaking down these issues down for you, and I'll tell you what transpired during the dialogue, right? My stance was trying to prove to them a point that whatever basis they have, they only have to take hadith to justify their means. And according to God, they are kafirs. When you do that, you are a kafir. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمُ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Right? Now, and God says in chapter 4 verse 36, وَعَبُدُ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا, or وَلَا يُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا. Do not associate anything with him. Anything. He didn't mention ahada or something. He says shay'an. Now, when we say shay'an here, it means anything. So it can be a book, it can be a saying, it can be a narration, it can be whatever you call a thing. He says, serve your Lord or worship your Lord. Do not associate anything with him. Chapter 4 verse 36, right? Now, for people who have the PDF version, or for people who have the book version, right? The previous book version I have, which was 2 years ago, was actually a sample, or I would say a sample that I did to prepare for this hardcover copy, right? And for people, I've made it in such a way it's so easy for anybody willing to understand word for word the words of God, right? That is the 100% honesty you can get from me. Inshallah, right? There is no dubious type of translation, and you can see I'm still alive. Anything you see in this book you don't understand, I'm here. Don't go further, don't go and ask anybody, I'm here. If any scholar tells you, hey, I'm lying in here, tell him you know who translated this book. He should come out for a live dialogue. I need him face to face. Then he should bring his own translation. Let's compare with the words of God here and see who is lying and he's telling the truth. So any other translation you see out there in the world, whoever tells you, oh, Shuaib is trying to lie to people, he's trying to mislead people here, tell him I'm alive. They should just find me. Whether they want to host me, I'll come to their program to justify whatever is here. Yes. Now, so when we go to Quran chapter 4 verse 36, let me tell you something interesting. The mushriks don't understand. When I say mushriks, people who create new sectors and formulate other books to attach with the book of God. This is the corruption man has created for himself since day one. When God says, do this, they say, no, you cannot do this again alone. You need that. It started with Adam. Remember, chapter 7 verse 16 to verse 20. The devil deluded him by telling him, no, your Lord did not say this is haram. He only said, don't do this, because he doesn't want you to become an angel. So that is why he did that. You get what the Hadith people are trying to do. Now, when we go to Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, then we go to verse 36. Now, the first part of the verse, I just quoted earlier, the first part of the verse, chapter 4, verse 36, that I quoted earlier. What God was telling us is to serve him, to worship him. Salam, Brother Tahir, you're welcome. Brother Tahir, your name is in Chinese writing. I know you are in Taiwan, but so if I don't actually tell people who you are, nobody can mention that what you wrote. So pardon me on that. So he says, وَعَبُدُ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Chapter 4 verse 36. He says, and worship God or serve God and do not associate anything with him. Do not associate. So I don't think if you are Ali Sunnah, you know this verse. I don't think if you are a Tijaniya or Ahmadiyya or Qadiriya or Salafiyya, whatever you call yourself, I don't think you understand this verse at all. At all. God says, worship your Lord God and do not associate anything with him. Now you go to associate Sahih Bukhari to the religion of God and even associate it with God. That is a very grave injustice. So when we take this verse And then we take chapter 7 verse 33 to compare what God was saying in that verse. Chapter 7 verse 33. I just came from chapter 4 verse 36. وَعَبُدُ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. And serve your Lord, or serve God, or worship God. Do not associate anything with him. Let me be monitoring the comments so that I can know who is here and who is not. I don't want to miss questions asked. Let me see. Pardon me, I need to monitor the comments here. Yeah. Yes, Alma Johnson, thanks for your info. Yes, most of the Quran you see out there, they've been tempered with, the Sunnis, the Shias, they've tempered with them a lot. Salam, brother Amin Lion. Yes, you're welcome. So when you go to chapter 7, verse 33, the reason why God is telling you do not associate anything with him, he said it clearly in chapter 7, verse 33, why some things are haram to do. It is totally haram. Right? Now the sectarians, with everything, they will tell you, Alul bid'ah, this is bid'ah, innovation. It is not part of Islam. It is not part of that. So I'm going to break it down for you to show you why I call those people mushriks and why I call those people kafirs. And I can prove it. Right? Good. So chapter 7 verse 33. God says, Kul innama harrama rabbi al-fawahisha ma zahara minha wa ma batana wal ithma wal bagya bighayr al-haq. Then he says, wa an tushriku billahi ma lam yunazzil bihi sultana. Then he says, wa an taqulu ala Allahi ma la ta'lamun. God is simply telling the messenger to say, my Lord only forbids obscenities. When we say obscenities, fasha, al-fasha. So fawahisha is a plural form, jama'u. So God has forbidden obscenities. Then he says, what is apparent, which is what is publicly, everybody can see, it is forbidden. And what is hidden of sin, what is hidden as well, people hide to commit sins, right, is forbidden. Then God says, and oppression without right. To oppress somebody without right. For people who don't understand here, they will say, oh, why is God using the word oppression without right? Yes, because there are some things you can be doing to other people who, as a retaliation, let's say somebody slapped me. According to chapter 42, verse 40 of the Quran, I can retaliate. Because God says the just penalty, or the just, the equal equivalent retaliation for an evil is an evil like it. So let's say somebody slaps me. God gives me the chance to slap him back. But may it be at the time he slapped me, you didn't see it. So maybe you saw the time I'm slapping him back. So to you, that is an oppression, right? But according to God, no, it is not an oppression. I might have oppressed him, but it is bil haq. It is with just. Because then if you want to investigate, you say, hey, Shoaib, why did you slap that guy? Then I will tell you, oh, he slapped me earlier. So I'm just retaliating. You understand? In the eyes of the people, that is an oppression. Because I'm trying to oppress somebody. So God says, an oppression without what? Right, the just. Without justice is forbidden by God. Yeah, salam, brother Kamal Anwar. Salam, brother Muhammad Kamal Din. Yes, salam, brother Ayub Sharif. You're welcome. Brother Salasi, I see you. I see you. Long time, bro. So chapter 7 verse 33 here is telling us in that verse, and then oppression without what? Right. Wal bagya bighayr al haq. Salam, Abdul Razak Musa. You're welcome. Then he says what? Wa an tushriku billahi ma lam yunazzil bihi sultanan. Now this is the interesting part. I just started from chapter 4 verse 36 where God says wa abudullaha wa la tushriku bihi shay'an. And when we say shay'an in Arabic, it means anything or something. Do not associate even a thing with him. to associate Sahih Bukhari and say Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. It is a thing. It is hadith. The Prophet doesn't know them. He doesn't know these books. He never witnessed them. He never witnessed. Who do you call Bukhari? Who? Where does your Prophet know him? Did he prophesy about him? No. Does he know somebody like that will be compiling books? No. So are you trying to tell us God was asleep? God cannot even guide you. So he has to let you rely on garbages to guide you. Religion of God is just like telling me my boss employ me, but he cannot dictate for me what I should do in the company. So he will just sit down, and then his lack of ideas. So now I have to go to other people to find how to serve my boss in the company. Are you serious? Or you just lack common sense and intelligence? You see. Now, so chapter 7 verse 33 is clearly telling you, and to associate others with God for which he has not sent down any authority, it is haram. So now, for people who watch the dialogue, unfortunately I said it is in Hausa language. I asked the guy a simple question. Where did God ask you to follow Sahih Bukhari? He doesn't answer. He never answers that. He tried to explain. It's just like me asking you, how many gods do we have? Can't you answer this simply? Can't you say 1 or 2 or 3? That the guy will say, you want me to answer directly? No, I don't need to answer. I need to explain. I don't need your explanation. Do you get the point? Somebody asks you, are you married or single? You say, hey, let me explain first. I used to be, no, a dumb ass does that. Seriously, a person lacking intelligence does that. And this is how sectarian scholars have been trained to answer questions. And this is why most of you are enslaved by these so-called scholars you see around you. You ask them simple questions, they deviate you. They tell you, you know what? Don't ask this kind of question. You become a kafir. Are you serious? Are you serious? Don't ask this kind of question. You become a kafir. God says in chapter 4 verse 82, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوهُ فِي اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. God says, do they then not contemplate the Quran? Had it been from other than God, they will have found numerous contradictions inside. Is that not questioning the Quran? If I start investigating this book and I want to know whether there are contradictions inside, and God says, had it been from other than God, they would have found numerous contradictions inside. The moment I start seeing contradictions, those contradictions cannot be from God. It can either be from me or somebody else. Do you see how it works? I give you an example. Let's say you open Surah Fatiha here. Then you started reading Surah Fatiha. Then in the translation, God says, praise be to God. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise to be to God, the Lord of the worlds. Then I translated it as praise be to the Lord of the worlds without putting the word God there, because it says Alhamdulillah. Laha here means God. So I forgot to put the God there. So I say praise be to the Lord of the worlds without putting God there. Now the moment you spot that error cannot be from God. That error, God mentioned God there. He says Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So when I was translating, I didn't put Allah there. I didn't put God. I only said praise be to the Lord of the worlds. Now where's the word God? I took it out. So that mistake you see there, that contradiction you find there, cannot be from God. It's from somebody else. You understand? But when we check the Arabic context of the Quran, we will see Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And this is one of the reasons I have a word for word translation here. You see the Arabic here, then you go here, then you see the text here. Then I have the, unfortunately it's not clear enough for you to see, but for people who have the PDF version can testify to this. Then you have the translation in English, then you have the transliteration, right, Romanized in Arabic language but in English form, so that you, the beginner who has never, or you have no idea what the Arabic words are saying, you will know what is meant by the word mentioned there. And as I told you, I put forth the challenge. Any scholar on this earth who takes this book and tells me I'm deviating people, please tell him Brother Shoaib asked for one thing. First of all, he should bring out his own translation. Secondly, let's meet on a public forum and have a dialogue. We close the book in front of the people. He closed his. Let's ask questions. Let the audience ask us questions based on the book. And we see who is trying to lie to the people by twisting words. Salam. Liman Imrana. Bro, I see you. So here, what I'm trying to give to the people is, when we are dealing with God, let's deal with what God tells us, because He's the boss. I cannot go to a company and be working with my own desires or be following somebody else's views other than my boss. If I have to follow a supervisor, who has to tell me? It's still the boss. So the boss has to tell me, or the supervisor is going to supervise you. But whatever he's going to tell you has to be based on the contract you have signed. So for people who have lived in the Western world, just like me based in Europe, and for people based in the Western world like Canada, the US, and other countries like Australia, you know what I mean, right? You go precisely according to the contract. Yes. So if a supervisor will start instructing you to do things which are not on the contract, are you binded by it? No. Because the supervisor also has a limit to what he's instructing you. It has to be from the boss. So now let's talk about somebody who is not a supervisor, who has never been mentioned by the boss, and comes to give you instructions. Are you kidding me? You will be a fool to follow what that person is commanding you. I'm serious. You need to question that person's authority. Yes. I'm speaking based on the Quran. I do lectures based on the Quran. And how do I erase the benefit of the doubt for people listening to me? I tell you that any scholar out there who says I'm lying, I am open for a dialogue. Why are they scared to step forward? Why? Ask yourself, why? Why do they prefer to stand far away and throw stones at me? Why don't they step forward? What are they scared of? You tell me. Is it not clear evidence for you that those people rather are trying to deviate you by making you stay blindly in your ignorance instead of trying to know? Because Quran chapter 17 verse 36 tells you clearly, وَلَا تَخَفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ. Do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Do not pursue. Now ask yourself, how many of you are following something in the religion that you know and can prove? Answer me, please. How many of you are practicing something in the religions you are, Sunni, Shia, Tariqa, Tijana, whatever? How many of you can prove it by knowledge and say, this is the evidence, this is what God says I should do? Unless to tell me, oh, our scholars say like that. Yeah, my scholar says this is blue, this is black, this is white. That is it. According to God, you are a fool. Yes. Salam, Salis. According to God, you are a fool to do that. Who is a fool? A person who lacks common sense, who lacks good judgment. That's what we call a fool. If you lack good judgment, you are called a fool. It's not an insult, it's a description. Yes. So sometimes, you know, with my reaction, I have people who might think, oh, Shuaib is aggressive. Oh, Shuaib has to be patient. Shuaib has to be this. I understand all your views. I understand your point. But it seems people don't understand my position and what I represent. When you take the story of Musa alayhi salam, according to you, you might say, oh, he doesn't deserve to be a prophet or a messenger of God because he was so aggressive, he was harsh, he was this. God sees beyond that. Every person has a personality he's been gifted by God. There are matters where you can be patient. There are matters you can't be patient. There are matters you can be patient, and there are matters you can't be patient. I give an example. When you go to Quran chapter 48 verse 29, yes, chapter 48 verse 29, right? In the last part of the, in the early part of the verse, Salam ala Jahat al Mahmud, you are welcome, long time. In that verse, it says, Muhammadur Rasulullahi. Then it says, Wallazina ma'hu, those with him. God says, Ashiddahu alal kuffar. Ashiddahu alal kuffar ruhamahu bainahum. When it comes to them with each other, they have mercy between them, which means they have patience for each other and they have mercy with each other. But when it comes to dealing with a kafir, God says, Ashiddahu alal kuffar. When you're dealing with somebody, who do we call a kafir? وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمُ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. This person doesn't deserve softness from you. If you get my point. We have instances where you can be patient. Meaning, if I have a person who wants to understand me, I have to be patient with him because he wants to understand me. If I have a person who is my rival, I can never be patient with him. It's impossible. Do you get my point? For instance, Musa alayhi salam, God told him when he went to Fir'auna, he should speak with qawlan layyin. Do you know why? Because Fir'auna was like his father. He brought him up as a kid till he grew up. He nurtured Musa alayhi salam. He took care of him. Now somebody who took care of you, you don't talk harshly to him. You have to talk with him qawlan layyin. But let me tell you something you don't know. Chapter 17, I'm going to show you where Musa said something as a retaliation back to Fir'auna, regardless of him taking care of you. Because God gives the right. If somebody does evil to you, you have the right to retaliate. It is allowed. It is never haram. The reason why God told him to speak to Fir'auna with qawlan layyin, because he has to give him the respect as a father figure. Yes, that's true. Taulan Zilma, it's true. You understand? Brother Taulan Zilma says, Salam, brother. As we discussed in earlier live talks, we have to start from somewhere. And these teachers are 99% dogmatic and afraid to pursue the truth by themselves. It's true. That is absolute truth. You understand? It's absolute truth. I agree with you. Now, when you go to chapter 17, then I take you to, let's say, 101. Why? What? Close my door. Let's say I take you to 101, that is Surah Al-Isra'i. I'm going to show you something. And like I said, everything you see me doing concerning Islam, concerning the deen, is justified. I don't do things out of ignorance. Of course, it's good to remind people. I'm not saying I'm always aware of what I do. Sometimes it's good to remind, but I do things with justification. I try my best not to be caught unaware. I know what I'm doing. Chapter 17, verse 101. I'm going to tell you something interesting here. The same person God told him to speak to Fir'auna with qawlan layyin. Listen what he told Fir'auna. First of all, and we had certainly given Moses 9 signs, ayat, right, as proofs. So ask the children of Israel when he came to them. Then Pharaoh said to him, "O Moses, indeed, I think you are bewitched." It means you are bewitched. You have been, a spell has been cast upon you. As some of the mushriks or kafirs today tell me, Shuaib, most of them, they write, "Oh, he's crazy. He is possessed. He is this, he is that," because they hate the truth, right? Good. Then again, verse 102. He, Moses, said, "You certainly know none reveal these signs that I have, except the Lord of the heavens and the earth," as what? Basair, that is insights. Then he says, "And O Pharaoh, indeed, I think you are doomed." Now this is the person God told him to speak with qawlan layyin to Fir'auna. Does that mean he cannot retaliate when Fir'auna tried to insult him? Yes, he can retaliate. Yes, he can retaliate. For people who don't understand, they will say, "Hey, I thought God told him qawlan layyin. Why did he have to say this?" Hey, some people say, hey, this is abomination. Why will you tell Pharaoh that he is doomed? Because you don't understand. It is in the rules of God. It's allowed. When somebody tries to do evil to you, you have the right to retaliate. It's allowed. There's nothing wrong with that. But God wants you to be patient as well. To be patient is better. But when you retaliate, it's allowed. Do you get my point? So here, Musa in turn told him, "Oh, Pharaoh, indeed, I think you are doomed." Madhbura. Pharaoh told him, I think you are mashura. Mashura means to be cast, a spell is cast on you, so you are bewitched, which means you are facing hallucination. You don't know what you're doing. You're confused. That's the insult Pharaoh insulted Musa. And when Musa was giving him reply, check what he said. وَإِنِّي لَأَظُنُّكَ يَا فِرْعَوْنُ يَا فِرْعَوْنَ مَثْبُورًا. Then he also told, "Oh, Pharaoh, indeed, I think you are doomed." Do you see here? But when you don't understand what Musa, the basis of what Musa was standing upon, you judge him and say, "Oh, why was Musa not patient? Why was he telling this to Pharaoh?" No, you shouldn't say that. You get my point. Now, to summarize this point, let's check what God told Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. Chapter 66 verse 9 of the Quran. See what God told Prophet to do to the mushriks, to the kafirs and the hypocrites. Somebody will say, "Oh, with the Prophet was nice to everybody. He was gentle to everybody. He has to be patient with everybody." No, he wasn't. Prophet was not gentle to everybody. No. So let's see the example. Chapter 66 verse 9. God was talking to the Prophet, and let's see what he told him, how he told him to act to the hypocrites and the disbelievers. So he started by saying, "Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, jahidul kuffara wal munafiqina wagluzu alayhim wa mawahum jahannam wa bisal masir." He says, "Oh, you prophet." You can use the word struggle, you can use the word strive, you can use the word fight based on the context, right? Struggle or fight the disbelievers and the hypocrites and be what? Tough, rough, stern against them. This is God talking, right? This is God talking. Yeah, Salim wants to give a sermon actually. So God says, "Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu jahidul kuffara wal munafiqina wagluzu alayhim." Wagluzu. Now this is where it summarized the issue. Wagluzu alayhim. Wagluz alayhim. That is, be rough against them. Be stern. Now, when it comes to certain scenarios, there are certain issues you don't give somebody you deem as a kafir or a mushrik or a munafiq. You don't give him the chance to lie or to override you. You have to be stern. You have to be, how will I say, aggressive against such a person. It doesn't mean you lack patience. No, it is about context. What is the issue at that point that you lack the patience? Right? For instance, you put your money on the table and two people were standing next to the table. You just turn your back, the money is gone. Then you ask them, "Hey, who took my money here?" Then both of them say, No, I didn't take. And they're about to leave. Are you kidding me? Will you allow them to leave? Or will you override your patience and show your colors? You will. Yes. This is the context of the issue. At that point, patience is not needed. Do you get my point? We have certain scenarios where you can be patient, but check the context of how you're dealing with issues. I asked the guy a question during the dialogue. I needed a straightforward answer. Did Prophet Muhammad give you Sahih Bukhari to follow? The guy doesn't want to answer that. He wants to explain. Am I interested in your explanation? No. Give me what I want. The answer is, if it's there, tell me yes. If it's not there, tell me no. Then we move on. He wanted to do explanation. I wasn't on the program to listen to your explanation. The host brought me on the program because it was my program and the host's program. The guy was just a sidebar. You know, when you're dealing with, words and then references, there's something we call sidebar. Sidebar means you put something aside. It's only when you need it, you bring it in. Do you get my point? So at that point, I shouldn't give him the chance to be talking, because the program wasn't about him. The program was about me. So I was asking a simple question so that answer and let me keep talking and continue talking. But he wanted to take the issue and start explaining further. The explanation is irrelevant. If I ask you, are you married or single? Do you need to explain something to me? No. What is the explanation do you need to explain before you answer me? You don't need to explain, are you married or single? Because based on the question, you answer it as it is. If I ask you, are you a fool? It's either yes or no. It's a question. Somebody will say, what do you mean? What do you mean? He wants you to explain. Because he hasn't maybe understood your question. So we get certain issues where you cannot be patient. Sometimes I've seen people where they will comment, somebody insults me and I give a reply in a more proverbial way. Some people misunderstand. They are like, why, Brother Shraib, you have to be patient with this. I know, 100%. In some cases, you can't be patient. You have to retaliate in a different way. They will say, oh, if you do that, nobody will get guidance. Guidance is not for everybody. Listen carefully. If God wanted to guide everybody, he will do so without me, Shraib, making an effort. Chapter 20, verse 50. Chapter 20 of the Quran, verse 50. God says he is the one who created everything and gives it its guidance. Prophet Musa, he didn't guide himself, God guided him. Isa alayhi salam, he didn't guide himself, God guided him. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he didn't guide himself, God guided him. Muhammad alayhi salam, he didn't guide himself, God guided him. If you need guidance and you have to get it through somebody, must you be arrogant to the person? No. What if you are arrogant to the person? Will you get it? No. Who loses at the end of the day? You. Musa alayhi salam, chapter 18, verse 65. He went to seek for knowledge. Was he patient? No. Did he finish the lectures? No. Who loses at the end of the day? Is he your teacher? No. Your teacher never loses. The teacher has to sack him. He sacked Musa alayhi salam. I'm done with you. We part ways. You are the one to lose, not me. I have nothing to lose. Because in the first place, I'm not here to sell the guidance. I'm not selling it. I'm not saying, hey, this video I'm doing, you have to pay me before you watch me. So when you come to talk trash to me, I, the teacher, am entitled to either let you go scot-free or retaliate. God will not hold me responsible for anything I say to you based on what you started. Do you get my point? So we have instances where you can be patient with people when they are patient enough to listen to you. So let me tell you how it works. Quran chapter 27 verse 81. This is what God says. Chapter 27 verse 81. Listen clearly what God says concerning when you're trying to guide people and who deserve to be guided. And I'm going to tell you. God says, وَمَا أَنْتَ بِهَادِ الْأُمِّهِ عَنْ ضَلَالَتِهِمْ. Then God says, إِن تُسْمِعُوا إِلَّا مَنْ يُؤْمِنُ بِآيَاتِنَا فَهُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. God is clearly telling you, and you cannot guide the blind from their error. Only those who believe in our verses will hear, and they are Muslims. So somebody who is a Muslim to God will listen to the words of God. It's not me you are listening to. What do I have to offer to you? Do you get my point? What do I have to offer? Do you think if I'm just here to just talk trash, people are interested in the trash I'm talking? No. I'm here because of this. So when I have a message from here to give you, and you come to seek for knowledge, will you insult me to get the message here? If you insult me and I don't give the message to you, who loses at the end of the day? Is it me? No, I don't lose. You lose. Yes, because I have the guidance. You don't have it. Yours is just to be patient with me and gain the knowledge. I wouldn't insult the intelligent people listening to me right now. Why will I insult them? Just because I think I'm knowledgeable? No. I will only insult you if you insult me. Yes, because I'm a human. I'm binded to retaliate. Qisas is in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 178. Retaliation is allowed. Eye for eye, nose for nose. Yes, you slap me, I slap you. You say I'm a fool, I say you are a mushrik. You are offended. You understand? So people, you have the right to show your views and say, oh, Shoaib, you can be patient. I agree. Views are, you understand, or are accepted. But it doesn't mean I have to abide by people's views. Because first of all, it's not people who advise me to be doing what I'm doing. It is the enlightenment and the inspiration God has given me that made me do what I'm doing today. So if I'm here, whatever I do, I have to take my rules from here. My guidance from here. If this book says I should keep quiet and not retaliate, I'll keep quiet. If this book says when I'm dealing with a kafir or a mushrik or a munafiq, I should be patient, then I'll be patient. Do you see how it works? So with opinions, views, you understand? You know, most of the times I'll have people call me, people who are older than me, my age mates or whatever, they say, oh, Brother Shaib, I like what you're doing, but please calm down sometimes. Calm down in which sense? How? Calm down how? You tell me. You the one telling me calm down. If you go somewhere and you are being cheated, let me come and witness you coming down. Let's see. Do you get my point? We have certain instances. It's impossible to calm down. Then we have certain scenarios you have to calm down because the other party want to understand you. That is when you calm down because he wants to now understand you. So you calm down, then you explain the point. But when you are dealing with a kafir or a munafiq, a mushrik who wants to deviate the words of God, to twist the words of God, you expect me to calm down and watch him lie? Who does that? To calm down and watch him to lie? No, I can't. It's impossible for me to sit down and watch you lie. Do you see how it feels? So it's just like you're watching somebody telling lies. I give you an example. Somebody carrying a gun, killing your loved ones, and you can save them. But you are sitting down watching and say, oh, I have to be patient. Let him finish killing them. Then I come in. No. It doesn't work that way. Do you get my point? Yes. Somebody is asking questions. He says, please, and the time I should establish my prayers. There's time for establishing salat. I've already explained it. It's on my YouTube link, the Salat of the Messenger. You see the timings. We have Salat al-Fajr, Salat al-Isha, and Salat al-Wusta. Fajr is early morning, right? Salat al-Isha is before sunset. It starts before sunset. Salat al-Wusta is in the middle of the night, right? Those are the only three Salat mentioned. And then when I said there was no Salat al-Jum'ah, the guy couldn't prove anything. I wasn't expecting him to even come and disprove me anything, right? But he couldn't prove the Salat al-Jum'ah. I said he couldn't prove that I was lying or anything. He couldn't prove. Now when I say there is no Salat al-Jum'ah, this is how people don't understand me. When you go to chapter 62 verse 9, let me explain it today so that people can understand why I said there's no Salat al-Jum'ah in the Quran. Chapter 62 verse 9, Surah al-Jum'ah. God says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu iza nudiya lis-salat min yawmil jum'at. He didn't say iza nudiya lis-salat al-Jum'ah. No, it never said that. Because the moment you use the word Salat al-Jum'ah, it has become a specific type of Salat which has to be done by congregation only. If you use the word Salat al-Jum'ah, which means it's a specific Salat which has to only be done by a congregation. Do you see? God only says Salat al-Fajr because it's a Salat which is done at Fajr time. God says Salat al-Isha, which is a Salat which is done at the Isha time, evening time. Chapter 24 verse 58. These two names are mentioned there. Then God says Salat al-Wusta because it is a Salat which comes in the middle, but not the middle of the day. Because he gave her the time to get up in the middle of the night. Inna rabbaka ya'lamu annaka takumu adna min thuluthay al-layli wa nithfahu wa thuluthahu wa ta'ifatu min allazina ma'ak. Chapter 73 verse 20. So he gave us in the time, in the middle of the night to get up, right? And do the salat. Read the Quran, do the salat. In the middle of the night. He gave you a time for it. That's why we call it Salat al-Wusta. It's in the middle. God never gave you Salat al-Zuhur. It's not there. There is nothing called Salat al-Zuhur in the Quran. There is nothing called Salat al-Asr in the Quran. There is nothing called Salat al-Maghrib. And to talk of Salat al-Eid, or to talk of Salat al-Janaza, or to talk of Salat whatever garbage you have created for yourselves. Do you get my point? Now, yeah, salam, brother Baba Mando. Do you get my point? Now, so chapter 62 verse 9. So when God was saying, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, iza nudiya lis-salat min yawmil jum'ah, which means from the day of congregation, a day of congregation. But ask yourself, what is happening on that day? There is something happening on that day. That congregation. Every country has the day of congregation. Every country, there's the day of congregation. Especially market days. A day of market. So now let's check the context of the verse. So when God says, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, iza nudiya lis-salat min yawmil jum'ati, then he says, Fas'aw ila zikrillahi wazarul bay'ah. That is bay'ah. It means you are doing sales on that day. That is why you are congregated on that day. That is why it is a yawm al-jum'ah. Every country has the day of congregation where you gather and sell stuffs and do activities and do entertainments and do other activities. Yes, it's there. It's natural. It is nothing called Friday. There is nothing called Friday in the Quran. Check the word al-jum'ah. It says adat al-tarif. It means de. So you say the Friday. Who taught you by mistake? So the word al-jum'ah, you want to tell me is called the Friday. Check the title of the chapter. Al-jum'ah is written there. So you translate it as the day of Friday or the Friday. Who mentions day as the Monday, the Tuesday, the Thursday? What is that? God gave you that? Study the book of God very well. So God says, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, iza nudiya lis-salat. It didn't say lis-salat al-jum'ah. There is nothing called salat al-jum'ah. So this is how the ignorant people don't understand me. And I tell you every day, I'm not here to talk to fools. No, I'm not here to talk to fools. Muhammad Momani Musa says, Sheikh, you are confused. Thank you. Because fools and ignorant people, that's what they think. They think I'm rather confused. I see you more confused than your scholars even. So God says, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. He's talking to the believers. Remember, Inna salata kanat alal mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Salat is only for mu'mins, believers, not Muslims, believers. And when we say mu'min, a mu'min is a different grade from a Muslim, right? A Muslim is only a submitter. He is submitted to God. But a believer, it is the one God always says, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu iza kuntum ila salat. Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. This, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. That. Because they are the believers. They do the action. They do the deed. You understand? So when God says, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, iza nudiya, when you are called, it didn't say azan there. The word nudiya, it doesn't mean azan. Because God called Musa alayhi salam by the word nudiya. It's in the Quran. Go to Surah Naml, chapter 27. Read from verse 7 to verse 12. It's there. The word nudiya, God called Moses. So are you telling me Moses, God called Moses by doing azan? No. You need to study the verses of God. He says, Iza nudiya lis salat. When you are called, it didn't say when the azan is called. You understand? Aha. So when you are called, when called to the what? Salat. You can see the salat there has adat al-tarif. It says lis salat. It has the alif and the lam. So the lam, double lam there, it signifies the adat al-tarif. Right? Salam Nikoti Jani. So when you are called to the salat, when called to the salat, which salat is that? Min yawmil jum'at. From the day of what? Congregation. A day that is there is a gathering. Because the word jum'ah, it is the root word of jama'ah. A gathering. Jama'ah. Then he says, Fas'aw ila zikrillah, because the salat is for zikrillah. Chapter 20 verse 14. Innani Allah la ilaha illa ana fa'budni wa qimi salata li zikri. So you establish salat for the remembrance of God. Zikrullah. That's why we do salat. So God says here, Fas'aw ila zikrillah. So that you leave the business you are doing. Wazarul bay'. So for the zikrullah, you leave the bay'ah. Then you go and do the remembrance of God. Then he says, Zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'alamun. It is better for you, that is if you know. That is what you have to do. So ask the mushriks, how many salats they have in the day? They will tell you 5. So ask them, is it only the Jummah prayer you've been going, the one Sahih Bukhari give you? Is it the only one I can leave my sales to go and pray? So does that mean, according to you, your Salat al-Asr, even if you are called to Salat, you have to keep selling? That's no wonder you have Tariqus Salat. With that foolishness, you even have Tariqus Salat, which means a Salat which has been left behind. So God is never important to you. You leave God, pile up your Salats, come in the night, you are doing Tariqus Salat. Are you in your right senses? Seriously. Is God even important to you? No. After God telling you in Surah Al-Nur, verse 36, He says, "Fi buyutin azna Allah an turfa wa yuskara fiha asmu yusabbihu lahu fiha bil ghudwi wal asal." Then he says, "Rijalun la tulhihim tijaratun wala bay'un an zikrullah." Rijalun la tulhihim tijaratan wala bay'un an zikrullah wa iqamis salat wa ita'iz zakat yakhafuna yawman tatakallabu fi qulub wal absar. If I remember, chapter 24, verse 36. Yes. So these believers, they do not allow their tijara, their bay'un, to what? Distract them from the remembrance of God and the salat. Yes. Then you leave your salat, you do your businesses, you do your everything, then you come and say tarakus salat. God asked you to do that, right? So your salat al-Jum'ah, if you have 5 salat in a day, according to you, God says, Iza nudiya lis salat. He mentioned lis salat, to the salat. Now when we say the salat, it's a definite article. Because God says, chapter 4, verse 103, Inna salata kanat alal mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Yes. So the salat has what? Decreed times, written times for the believers. Not for the mushriks, the one who do 5 times a day, not for them. No, they are mushriks because Sahih Bukhari gave them something to associate with God. So if I call them mushriks, it's normal. A mushrik means somebody who associates something with the words of God, which is haram. Chapter 7, verse 33. God says don't associate anything. He hasn't given you authority. Chapter 4, verse 36. وَعَبُدُ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Serve your God, worship your God, do not associate anything. And you associate Sahih Bukhari, 5 salats that he gave you. You associate it with God. It means you are not okay. So since you are associating Sahih Bukhari to God, I ask you a question. Those 5 salat you have, is it only the Zuhur prayer that you have called Salat al-Jum'ah? Is it the only one you can leave your sales to go and do? It means you are not thinking properly. Do you see what I mean? So when we say Salat al-Jum'ah, it doesn't exist in the book of God. It's not here. You understand? But ignorant people will not understand me. So like the foolish guy who say, I'm confused. Yes, I'm confused because ignorant people, they see me confused. Not wise people. I told you, I'm not here to enlighten fools. I'm here for intelligent people. And that's why they are listening to me. Good. Now, yes, salam, my sister Rashida, you're welcome. Yes, Abdul Razak Musa, thank you. So this brother Muhammad, more money Musa. Maybe I should bring you. You are the. He called me. Look, this guy Muhammad more money Musa. He called me. He says you are the foolish and ignorant one. Then he called me Sheikh again. Is this guy okay? So no wonder Prophet Muhammad himself was called Mu'allim al-Majnun. He was called a what? A crazy teacher. Also, they know he's a teacher. They know he was knowledgeable. Chapter 43, verse 13 to 14. They know he was wise. Is it chapter 44? Sorry, chapter 44, verse 13 to 14. They know he's a teacher. He's knowledgeable, but they call him crazy. Similarly, this guy is saying, I'm rather the foolish and ignorant, and he called me Sheikh. Thanks for the honor. So a sheikh is called ignorant and foolish. No problem. So no wonder I attack your sheikhs as mushriks. All your sheikhs are mushriks. Wallahi lazim. All the sheikhs you have in Tijaniya, Ali Sunnah, whatever thing you have created, they are all mushriks. Wallahi lazim. So let's move on. Hey, salam, Sister Awa Bashir. You're welcome. Yes, Baba Amando says, if I can understand you, we have to pray 3 times a day, please. Yes, 3 times a day. It's 3 times. But the night prayer, the night salat, according to chapter 73, verse 20, God says, إن ربك يعلم أنك تقوم أدنى من ثلثي الليل ونصفه وثلثه وطائفة من الذين معك. Then it says, Wallahu yuqaddiru al-layla wan-nahar. Now, when you check chapter 73, verse 20, when God says He has made the qadr for night and the day, then He says, Alima anlam tusuhu fataba alaykum faqra'u ma tayassara min al-Quran. God says He knows that you may not, or you cannot calculate it, or you cannot. For instance, in Finland here, sometimes we don't have darkness hour. We don't have night. Well, we have evening. We have Fajr, we have Isha. But sometimes we don't have night time. Right? Or the night time is just limited. So God has forgiven me. He has pardoned me for the night time. Even if I don't do Salat al-Wusta, it's pardoned. So in this context, we can say Salat al-Wusta is not actually compulsory. If you do the 2 Salats in the day, yes, it's allowed, without getting the third. So the third is not constantly that you can do. The reason why you do the night salat is stated in chapter 17, verse 79. Where he says, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدُ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَىٰ أَنْ يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَعْمُودًا. So that your Lord will raise you to a commendable position. Right? That is the one of the reasons why you do the night salat. Good. Alaji Ali says, oh, I just arrived. No, you fired my malams. Ow. Oh, sorry. I apologize, bro. When I say malam, when you say your malams, which one do you mean? Sunni, Shia? Because I was talking in general. Did he touch your malam? Then I'm sorry. Hey, salam. DMS. Yusuf. Salam. Baba Amandu says, teachers and forget. No problem. Abu Salam Ali says, Sheikh Shoaib, you are steady. Thank you very much. It's been a while, my uncle. Okay. Murtaza Rahmatullah Salam, I see you. Okay, let's move on. Thank you very much. Eslim Sewomu. Thank you for being Alajis Ali. So you are Tariqa. Oh. Well, when we say Tariqa in Arabic, it means way or path. So you have created a new path for yourself, because God never gave you Tariqa or Tariqa to Tijaniya. God never gave you that. Your sheikhs gave you. So it's not God you are following anymore. Because let's ask Prophet Muhammad, chapter 27, verse 91 to 92. He says, Wa umirtu an akuna min al-muslimin. He has been commanded to be of the Muslims. So, where did you get Tariqa from? From Prophet Muhammad? No, he didn't give you Tariqa to Tijaniya. So think twice, my brother, please. Now, so another point. During the dialogue, I asked the guy that, where did God ask you to follow Sahih Bukhari? He didn't give the answer. But when he asked me a question, he wants me to explain directly, to give the answer directly. Do you see the problem with sectarians? They don't want to answer direct questions. If you ask them, the Sahih Bukhari book you are following, is it part of Islam? They say yes. Who made it part of Islam? They can't answer. Now, I'm going to enlighten you here. According to their own Sahih Bukhari hadith, this is what it says. Their own Sahih Bukhari hadith. I'm going to quote the hadith for you. And any hadith scholar who encounters you, give him this. Yes, give him this hadith I'm going to quote. Inside the hadith, you can be found in reference Sahih al-Bukhari, the book of Bukhari. Yeah? Book number 2155. You can write it down and search it later. Book number 2155, Sahih al-Bukhari. Because that is the topmost hadith they follow. That is Sahih Bukhari hadith is the number one according to the mushriks. So English reference, if you are looking for the English reference, you type volume 3, book number 34, hadith number 364. What did the hadith say? Inside the hadith, it says, in the evening, who is narrating? Nana Aisha. And who is writing? Sahih Bukhari, who never met Nana Aisha. But he is writing this. He says, the wife of the Prophet, Nana Aisha. In the Quran, A to Z, there is no woman called Aisha here. It doesn't exist. Good. So in the evening, the Prophet, alayhi salam, Nana Aisha narrating, got up and glorified God as he deserved, and then said, why do some people impose conditions which are not present in the book of God? That's the Prophet saying according to the hadith. Then he says, and whoever imposes a condition which is not in the book of God, then that condition is what? Batila, is false. Then he says, even if he imposes that condition 100 times, that condition is still false. Then it goes on to say, for God's conditions are more binding and reliable. The Arabic version, Man ishtarata shartan laysa fi kitabillah fahuwa batil. I'm not saying it, Sahih Bukhari is saying it. Somebody will say, what is the isnad of this hadith? Tell us if you know. Are you in your right senses? For instance, I go to a restaurant and a delicious, nice, palatable food has been cooked for me to come and enjoy. When the food is put in front of me and I want to enjoy it, you are telling me I should explain to you how the food was cooked before I enjoy that delicious meal. Are you in your right senses? If it is not meant to be eaten, why is it in front of me? Why is it put in front of me to eat? So if I'm enjoying the delicious food in front of me, you are telling me to tell you the isnad, the chain of narration. What am I interested in that garbages? If it is relevant, if it's irrelevant, why did you put it in Sahih Bukhari? And pay attention. Whenever they call something Sahih, it means it's authentic. This is not da'if. They made it authentic. So this hadith is saying, Man ishtarata shartan laysa fi kitabillah fahuwa batil. It says, whoever imposes a condition which is not in the book of God, which is the Quran, that condition is invalid, is false. So now where did they get the conditions saying that I need to follow Sahih Bukhari? Where did they get the condition which says Sahih Bukhari explains the Quran? Are they in their right senses? After God says, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبِيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Chapter 16 verse 89. This book is a clarification for all things. And then you come and tell me I can't follow this book. I need to follow your garbages that you wrote. And somebody who is not even an Arabian wrote for you, which is called Sahih al-Bukhari. And Imam Bukhari didn't even make his book Sahih. It is the scholars who came after him. For instance, Imam Albani. He is the one who gives the signature Sahih. He says this is Sahih, this is Daif. For them. Subhanallah. Your own hadith is telling you, whoever imposes a condition, shartan, laysa fi kitabillah, which is not in the book of God, that statement is false. Your own hadith, not me, your own hadith. Bring me any scholar, we can sit down. Wallahi lazim. Wallahi lazim. Their own Sahih Bukhari hadith. Wallahi, no scholar on earth can disprove me on this. I will use your own hadith to whip you. Hadithin ka da kanshi na cewa kaman wanda ya je wani hukumce ka wani condition bisa kan mutanen da ba shi cikin littafin Allah, wannan condition kariya ne. Shekaka, then you bring me condition. You say, hey brother Shuaib, you are a kafir because you are following the Quran alone. Are you in your right senses? Your prophet, did he follow the garbages you are following today? I'm asking you, the Sahih Bukhari garbages you are following, is it your prophet who gave you? Somebody will say, oh, stop calling the books garbages. For example, if I have food to eat, proper food from the restaurant, buffet, must I go to the garbage to find bread to eat? That's why I call it garbage. Because if something is irrelevant to me, it's a garbage. Yes. What is the meaning of garbage? Trash. Do you see my point? So If you say I cannot call it garbage, come and prove to me in the Quran where God says I cannot call Sahih Bukhari garbage. Because God says, وَأَن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا. That thing is haram. So if your Sahih Bukhari book is haram, excuse me, can I call it garbage or not? Marun Khalif is asking, Salam, brother. He says, how much for the hardcover? Yes, I will put the link above. I think when I finish, I'm almost done. I'll put the link above. Then you can find the link where to get it. And for the first 10 or 15 people who buy it, they will get a discount for it. If you don't find a discount anywhere on the page I put, just inbox me. I'll give you the discount code. You get it. And then for people who are in US, in Europe, UK, Australia, yes, you have direct access to be posted. But for other countries, I'm working on the the posted pricing so that it can be affordable for everybody to have it. Taulant Zilma says, but somebody's trash is someone else's treasure. Yes, it's true, because some people go to the garbage to eat, and that's why I call it garbage, because garbage means only people who need garbage food will eat Sahih Bukhari. Do you get my point? So for me, it's garbage. That's what I meant. So if they want me to explain, I can explain. If you said don't call it garbage just because somebody's eating, so I don't call it garbage, are you serious? When you go to the trash to eat, it's still called trash. No matter how good food you get there, it's still trash. I hope you get my point. So for people who don't understand, you say this guy is mean, he's disrespectful. What is it? I can explain everything I tell you. Yes, I'm not speaking out of ignorance. Yes. So their hadith themselves says, whoever imposes a condition which is not in the book of God, that condition is false. So why do you give me condition that I have to follow Sahih Bukhari? Why? Who asked you to do that? They will say, وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا أَنَاكُمْ هَنُّ فَانْتَهُ. Really? You see what I did to the scholar? I told him to fulfill the verse. He was trying to twist the verse, take small portion, and suit their needs. He even calls hikmah, al-hikmah. He says it's sunnah. I asked him to prove it. He couldn't. Alaji, you said what? I didn't see your question. Somebody was asking a question. He says, Muti Hussein, he says, Assalamu alaikum, brother. I have tried to do my homework, of course, but I still don't understand if to say about Muhammad alayhi salam or to say alayhi salatu wasalam. Can you, brother, explain to me why you always say alayhi salam? Thank you. Yeah. I'll have to end soon. I say alayhi salam, it can be found in chapter 27 verse 59, right? Chapter 27 verse 59 of the Quran. Every servant of God that God has chosen, it's okay to say alayhi salam upon them. But I don't say alayhi salatu was salam. It's wrong. Your salat is only for Allah, not for Muhammad, right? Because Muhammad alayhi salam himself, Muhammad alayhi salam himself, chapter 6 verse 162, he says, Kul inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. He doesn't, there is nothing like salat. Okay, let me give you an example. Prophet Muhammad himself, does he say sallallahu alaihi wasallam or alayhi salatu wasalam upon somebody? No, he doesn't. Why will he do it? Did he do it too? You say you are following his sunnah. So you saying alayhi salatu wasalam, did he say it upon somebody? Afala takilun, it means the conscious is kaput. You understand? You don't do something and attribute it to the prophet. He doesn't have the right to tell you what God hasn't given him. So if he says something, we don't find it in the book of God. Hello? So there's nothing like saying sallallahu alaihi wasallam or thank you very much, Baba Sidu. Hey, salam, brother Hamza Malik. Long time, brother. Long time. I hope you're doing good. Brother Alaji Ali, are you asking me tayammum about ablution, dry ablution, or what are you asking me? What is tayammum? There is nothing called taimama in the Quran. So what is taimama? What do you mean by taimama? Now, so like I said, the dialogue I did on Sunday was in Hausa language, right? We only had a dialogue because I said there is nothing like Salat al-Jum'ah in the Quran. There is no Salat al-Eid. The Salat al-Eid you went recently to do is not in the Quran. So who are you doing it for? Who asked you to do it? You understand? Yes. Yes, the dry ablution is in the Quran chapter 5 verse 6. What you do is you find clean sand. Clean sand. You touch it. You purpose it. You touch it. Huh? When you touch it, you wipe with your what? Face and then your hands. You wipe. You wipe. Not the sand, not the hands to the elbow, no. You wipe your hands with it. Right? Huh? Fomsahu. That is masaha. That's all you do. Huh? Okay, what is it? Yes. I have to bring my topic to an end soon. Yes, it's in the Quran. You go to chapter 5 verse 6. It's in the Quran. Let me help you before I end. Yeah. My soldiers are calling me already. Unfortunately, now people are joining on the program. Huh? Kuka sana out on it. Nadira. That's what happens. When the program gets interesting, then the kids start interrupting. When you go to chapter 5 verse 6, Nadira Nazwa Kinji. He says, Falam tajidu ma'an. If you don't find water, then he says, Fatayammamu, Fatayammamu sa'idan tayyib. Then he says, Fa'umsahu bi'ujuhikum wa aydikum minhu. Now the word fa'umsahu is masaha, is to wipe, is to rub. So the word masaha, to rub, to wipe. So that's clean sand you are going to use. It's like I said, you are using it for purification, not in terms of you have to purify yourself in terms of, let's say, I'm going to shower, I'm going to bath, because we use water to purify. But in case you don't find water, that's the word ma'a, is water. If you don't find it, then you use the clean sa'id and tayyiba, a clean good sand that you are going to use as a ritual. So you use this sand, then you wipe with your faces and wipe your hands. This is your hands. And when we say wipe, you cannot use sand to wash. We don't use sand to wash. You can only use sand to rub or wipe. So you wipe your hands, not to the elbows, to here. Now, some people may ask, why do I need to do this before I serve God? Now, when you understand what we call spiritual connection, right? When you have a spiritual connection with God, you can do strange things. But if God didn't want you to use your reflection or your reasoning, he will have tell you to take any sand. Remember, any sand can have dog poop. It can have saliva, people spitting inside. So you have to find a good sand, tayyib, something which is clean to use. So this is what we call what? A ritual that you have to follow. You understand? So chapter 5 verse 6 gives you that instance. So ladies and gentlemen, please. Yes, brother Baba Amando, I'm bouncing soon because I have to go. My kids are calling me and I have to attend to them. It's quite unfortunate now that people are having time to join the program. I have to run very soon. So like I said, the summary, like I said, the Quran is available. That is the hard cover copy, right? And everything, the Syrian, you can see ISBN number, everything. I'll be putting the link above for people who want to afford it. And I said the first 15 people, the first 15 people from the developing countries, whether Europe, America, Canada, Australia, who are interested, you can inbox me. I give you the discount code where you can buy it on offer, so that it can be shipped with you, to you within less than 10 days, inshallah. So like I said, it is available, and I'll be putting the link after I finish this. Then you can go there and buy for yourself. But for people who are based in Finland and they want to buy it, you can actually meet me up Or I'll send you a link. If you have my number, I'll send you a link where you can just buy it through Zettel. So you can buy it through either PayPal, either your bank card, or either I send you a link. Any means you want to pay, you can pay for it. So this is, the official publisher is Natsal Enterprise, right? The official publisher doesn't come under my name. It comes under Natsal Enterprise, right? So you can buy it from there, and I guarantee you, whatever you find in the book, so far as I'm alive, you don't understand, please hit me up. Try to know what is in this book if you need clarification. And like I said, for anybody who thinks, oh, Brother Shaib is lying with these words, he put this there, I said I'm available for a dialogue. I can prove whatever I translated, I can prove whatever I said concerning Islam. Like I said, I'll be putting the link above this page, or I'll put it on the page so that you can have access where you can buy the PDF is available for people who can afford it. I made it cheaper. If you need a discount on it, please inbox me. I will send you the code. Then you can buy it of cheaper price and also get access to the Quran and find word for word translations, right? So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the time of support. The dialogue I did on Sunday was in Hausa language, not in English language. I did it based on the brother, the host, who invited me to talk about. But you can see the opposition wasn't ready to answer any questions, right? He says the Quran is not the only source of guidance according to Islam. He couldn't prove it. He didn't prove it. There is no proof. But I proved to him, God says we should follow the Quran alone and no other book. Yes. You understand? So some people will say, okay, what about the Torah? What about the Gospel? We don't have the original versions. We can only have the Bible where we can confirm some verses which are from God. But the Bible on its entirety is not from God. So whatever the verses of God here confirms in any other book, that statement is the word of God. Do you get my point? So ladies and gentlemen, subhana rabbi izzati amma yasifun wa salamu ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.